everyone, my name is Ariel, I'm autistic, and welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I talked about being autistic and having routine and how to maintain that routine, especially if you're traveling. So I am actually traveling at the moment, but because I stay on my routines daily when I'm at my house and in my normal environment, I also try to learn how to incorporate my day-to-day routine somewhere else. So I'm in a different environment, a different setting, but I've made sure to stay on my routine this whole time, and part of that routine includes doing this video. Before I go into the topic for this week's video, I just want to answer some questions that I get a lot about routine and traveling. Like, do I get stressed out? Do I get anxiety, overwhelmed, overstimulated? Do I feel defeated? And the answer is yes. But I bring my blanket with me and I bring my elephant, LiQWYD, which my TikTok handle is right here, and I'm sure that you guys have seen him once or twice or more in my videos, but I bring things that help me feel safe and secure when I know that my environment, my surroundings, like when they're gonna be different than what I'm used to. And then I just make sure that, of course, I have my Taylor Swift albums. And I mean, like, I listen to every album. I'm currently listening to Red, because it just dropped and I can listen to it on repeat for quite some time. And my best friend got me this t-shirt for my birthday, so Taylor's version, established 2021. But I felt the need to bring it, and that also gives me another sense of safetyness and some kind of security. But the more that I have traveled and brought my routine, any of my routines with me, the easier it becomes to transition into something slightly different. All right, so today's topic is things that you should not say to an autistic person. It was always hard for me to be open and expressive about being autistic, and I can imagine that if it's hard for me, then it's hard for others that are also on the spectrum. We as autistic people, we just want to be accepted, and to be understood would be great, but we're all different. So if you understand me and my autism, then you're not going to understand the person to my right that is also autistic, or the person to my left that is autistic. So it takes a lot for someone with autism to tell anybody, hey, I'm autistic. And then for someone to dismiss that or to say something negative, then it's like any kind of confidence that we're building, any acceptance that we're gaining, our self-value, it kind of decreases, because we just want to feel normal in a world that is not normal for us. Or I should say, I want to feel normal in a world that is so foreign to me. It's become too common for us to feel obligated to tell anybody that we are autistic. I don't, because we are just like everybody else. We do things differently. We think differently. We speak differently. We're just different. Since we do feel this need to tell people that we are autistic, I'm sure almost everyone, including myself, has had quite the amount of things you shouldn't say to an autistic person. This one gets me every time. And I'm gonna kind of put it together. But it's, oh, you don't look autistic. Or what? I could never tell. Well, there's not really a look to autism, right? And what is it about society that has given people with autism the stereotype that we have to look and behave and react a certain way? So this one, I get more being an adult with autism, and it's that, well, you drive and you have a job. Okay. Yes, I have a job. And I get it more because I also work in the service industry, because apparently people with autism should not work in the service industry, because we're dealing with people and emotions and sounds and lights and music, and just everything happens at once. It's like, it's going like this. But out of every job that I have had, and I started working when I was between 14 and 15. Every job that I've had, I was bullied and isolated, and my autism was used against me. But the job that I have now is so open and accepting and understanding and supportive that even if I mask just a little bit when I'm talking to a customer or a guest, that's it. It's just here and there with them, because everyone that I work with knows that I'm autistic, and it doesn't change anything. But driving, I didn't want to start driving at all. I think I started driving when I was like 18 or 19, which is odd because that's like right around the same time that I was diagnosed with autism. But driving can be stressful. It can be overwhelming. It can cause anxiety. But I like having that sense of being independent, even if it's just a little bit, because I know that there are some things that I won't be able to do. So I personally may not ever be able to live alone. Or maybe I can, but I've done it a few times and it's hard. It's hard for me to do things on my own that way. Also, like paying bills. I have most of my bills come out of auto draft, and I keep track of when they're coming out and how much they are. If there are some bills that, I have to go pay, then I might just give the money to my roommate and she will pay them. But having a job and driving or living on your own or paying your own bills, because some autistic people can do these things, doesn't mean that every autistic person can, but some of us might need support for our entire life. And some of us might need or be able to just be independent our whole life. And then some of us just need a good balance between both. I think this one is just great because I get it a lot. So if I'm telling anybody that I'm autistic and their response is, oh, I have a niece or a nephew or a younger sibling that is autistic. So I understand. Okay, well, the thing with that is I'm an adult, so I'm 31 with autism. I'm not your younger sibling or your niece or nephew who ranges from the ages of like 5 and 10 with autism. So who they are now, they might be different as they get older and kind of grow into themselves and understand themselves on a deeper level, like on an inner deeper level. That's why I'm doing this. Or the one of, well, I have a best friend that is autistic, or I know somebody else that is autistic. It's the same thing. I'm not gonna be like your best friend or anyone else that you've met with autism, because none of us are the same. So my reactions and my emotions and my stems, my personality traits are going to be different than any other person with autism that you have met before. The first time I posted about being autistic was when Oklahoma was under quarantine, right when COVID hit. And I don't know, I'm not sure what made me want to just finally come out there after like 10 years of just never telling anybody. And then when I did tell people, they would just react so badly, and I felt lost and confused inside. So the video that I posted was on my TikTok, and it was the coming out video. Well, I already post so much about my sexuality, that I date women, and I grew to be so comfortable with that before I became so comfortable with being autistic. And in that video trend, it was coming out, and I've already come out to everybody else about my sexuality. And why not switch it over and tell people I'm autistic, like, here I am. And that's what I did. I did a video, and it said, you know, after 10 years, I was diagnosed at 18, and I want to tell everyone that I'm autistic. I'm finally accepting myself, and I want to share this feeling with the world. Since doing so, since putting it all out there the way that I do, I get this a lot more than what I used to, and I want to kind of tie them together as one, but it's being, you just say you're autistic for attention, or you're lying to yourself and everyone else. Well, I don't know how anybody that is autistic would just say they are for any kind of attention, because a majority of us hate attention, any kind. Like growing up, I never wanted my mom to put me to bed. I didn't need you to give me a hug at night, to tuck me in, a bedtime story, any of that stuff. I could wake myself up. I could do my own things. I could make my own breakfast. I didn't like any attention in any way. And I think that has to do with just the feeling of being touched. Sometimes it's a lot. It's too much stimulation in our body. But if a person that is autistic and they get comfortable enough with someone or their friends or in an environment, and they do decide that they will take your attention and they will also give some back, that's a lot. So that's a huge thing for us. Like now I will give my mother a hug here and there. It's not all the time. But lying, well, people, I'm terrible at lying. So, and I used to lie all the time when I was a kid, and it would be about the most insignificant things, and they made no sense, but I thought I was, top notch. But we don't know how to lie. It's just impossible. So we're more likely to be brutally honest about anything and everything. Being autistic is hard. It's very hard. And that made me think of last weekend at work. I was talking to a guest customer. I think that they're both one and the same. So I don't really ever know which preference to use, so I just say them both. But some people know that I'm autistic. Like I'll get some people that come in and say, hey, I follow you on TikTok, or I've seen your Instagram, or I follow your channel, etc. And then there's some people that have no idea. Well, they didn't know that I'm autistic. And I really can't say exactly how the conversation started, but it was talking about like, what's the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning? I just think about doing my morning routine. And so that's what I said. And they were like, no, you think about what you're going to do for work and how you're going to do your day. And I'm thinking, no, I'm thinking about my morning routine, because I have to do my morning routine. Or if I don't, I don't have a day to start. And then the conversation just kept going, and they continued on with how people that are autistic, or people that are special, or people that are the R word, and I hate the R word. It just sounds, it sounds so just insulting, and it hurts. They have it the easiest. They have everything handed to them, and they just get up and they just live their life, and they can do anything. It's not really true, because it's not easy for us. We don't just get up and just do anything, and we can't just do everything. There's some things that I can do, and there's some things that I can't do. But being autistic is not easy. It's emotional, and it's consuming, and it's exhausting, and it's painful, and it can be lonely and confusing. It can be everything at once. And then everything at once sometimes is just so overwhelming that we're just like a ticking bomb. it takes a lot for someone that is autistic to share that with anybody else. I remember when I told my two best friends, not last summer, but the summer before, and they just said, okay, that's it. And they still know me, but they got to know me deeper. They got to understand me on a different level than what they did before, because maybe I was masking too much and I wasn't sharing enough. But when we say, hey, I'm autistic, and all these negative comments come back, it's painful. It still hurts me when I tell someone that I'm autistic and, you know, they jump back at me. And I have to remind myself that a lot of people don't understand what they don't know, and if they don't know, maybe they don't want to understand, because autism is a spectrum disorder, so it's huge. Like, we're all just in here together. We're all similar, but we're also different. We're all working together. I believe that everyone that is autistic is a part of a family, whether we know each other or not, because we all know and we all understand what each of us feels and goes through day to day. I think I could do multiple parts to this video of things you should not say to someone that is autistic. And I hope that one day when somebody tells someone that they are autistic, they get a positive and uplifting reaction, because it takes a lot for us to accept ourselves, and when we do, we want others to also accept us. We don't want to feel completely isolated. We already feel foreign in this world. So, but as I always say in my videos, be you, and that's it. Just be you. Be true to you.